Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fallout Roundtable. This is a place where diverse individuals discuss various topics from the Fallout universe. Join us, the conversation has already started.
Welcome, one and all, to another episode of the Fallout Roundtable. I am, as always, your host and captain of the ship, or the conductor of this train, Maverick Stone. And with us always is Romer, Sassy Lady, and that's it. Gingerino's not here today.
And apparently neither is Jackson.
And Jax isn't here either. I'm sorry, my friend.
Poor Jaxus.
Wow.
Edit this.
It's all good. It's all good.
Before we introduce our guests, why don't we get them to rate, review, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If they're listening to our audio-only version of our podcast, we have a video version where you see me looking back and forth like a madman, which I don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like I need to. We also have a Twitter account at FalloutRTB, and we also have an email account which you can send us stuff, falloutrtb@gmail.com. There we go.
Yay.
Let's introduce our guest now for this very special episode of the Fallout Roundtable. It is KingFanMan. Say hello.
Hello. Thank y'all for having me.
How you doing, KingFanMan?
I am
Did I
doing
say it wrong?
fabulous. Yeah,
I think you said
it
Finman,
right.
so I'm just
Well,
going
you said
with
like
that.
King Finman, and all I could think of was Jimmy Buffett. Fins to the left, fins to the right.
I'm the King Fan Man.
He's the fan man.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
It might have been that Michigan accent.
Baby.
I've been called a little bit of everything, so it's okay. I've been called King Fat Man. It's it's okay.
No. I think they meant the mini
that'd be
nuke
round
gun,
now.
right? They were not referring to your body shape.
I hope not.
Maybe it was PHAT.
Yeah,
That's
there
it.
you go. I
Yeah,
like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So
Well,
anyway,
cool.
what's
So
our
tell us,
topic?
tell us a little bit about you, King Fan Man.
I have a YouTube channel where I cover Bethesda stuff. I do a podcast every Saturday covering Bethesda news called the KingCast. I've been doing it about 3 years, and I just appreciate y'all having me.
We appreciate you coming. How did you get into Fallout? So I know that your tagline is that you're a fan of all things Bethesda.
Yes.
So how did this all start?
So how'd you
I'm
get
gonna-
into Bethesda, I think, is where we need
I guess
to go.
it's probably more
Yeah.
appropriate, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna give y'all the quick story, okay?
There we go.
Because
The
I have a long
elevator-
story,
the
but I'll
elevator
give you a
stuff.
quick story. I've always loved games, loved Bethesda games as well. But I came down with lupus about 18 years ago now.
Who's Lupus?
Who's lupus?
I'm kidding.
There is no
I was
lupus.
gonna say, well, okay. I mean, not
And,
maybe everybody doesn't know. I don't know.
Wait, you're a werewolf?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It is that
Like
is what
Lupin,
it is.
yes.
And I was actually homebound. I mean, it was really bad for a while. And my doctor actually told me to play video games to help with the pain. The pain was so bad and severe.
Because you
So-
forget what's happening because of the
Yes.
auditory. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
it does help when I'm in pain. That's one of the first things I do is go run.
Takes your mind off it. Yeah.
It does. Absolutely.
Mind over matter.
It's better than a pain pill. But so Skyrim, Fallout games, boy, I've got hours and hours and hours and hours. So in my other life, I was a police officer and a pastor, and I still do pastor a small, very small congregation.
God
But
bless.
I got into Bethesda games, and I thought, hey, I know so much about Bethesda games. I've played so much, might as well cover them a little bit. So that's the short story.
And you're very excited for Starfield, I know.
Oh man, yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's about time.
Isn't it though? Wow.
Yeah, we've been talking
How
about
long
that
has
for a
it been?
while.
I'm really ready for the next Elder Scrolls, but we won't talk about that.
I'm ready for Fallout 5, but that's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
a
the next
long
Fallout.
time.
I
I've
know.
been waiting a while for that one.
I may be dead by the next Fallout.
I might be
not.
putting my teeth in a glass by then.
Exactly. We all figured we're going to be playing together in the nursing home when we
Yep.
start Fallout. But well, Matt will have to he'll have to come visit us in the nursing home. He
Will
won't be
we
there.
be alive when the
I know I will.
Fallout 6. Will Fallout 6? Will we
We
even get to
will. We'll
play
be
it?
collecting Social Security by then, but if there's any left. But
That's
yeah,
sad.
we'll be
Guys, I'll
alive.
be there. I'll be there.
That's not nice.
Yeah, after you come to all our funerals, and you're like, "I'll play Fallout for you."
I'm immortal.
I
I'm
got
gonna live
you.
forever
I
anyway.
got you.
So, question, just completely off topic. Does anybody else, whenever somebody like mentions Skyrim, like get like the background music sound kind of going in your head?
Oh, yeah.
No, just
No,
like
because I never
yeah.
played it.
Me, I
Oh
actually tend to
my
like my
gosh.
brain
I know.
automatically sees dragons flying through the air and somebody trying to shoot it with a bow and arrow every time.
When it came out, they released the soundtrack, and they literally had an hour-long like background ambiance track, and I would just play that for like an hour in my truck as I'm driving down the road. And so like I could, yeah, sorry, totally off topic.
I
I
get that.
apologize.
I do that too.
I played the
I have a-
original Diablo music while playing other games. Just because I love the whistly sound and yeah.
That was a killer soundtrack too. Yeah.
I love the soundtrack. It was such a good soundtrack.
So enough about Diablo Roundtable. Let's get back to Fallout.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
another game I don't play is Diablo, so not bad.
Well,
Funny.
it's not Bethesda, so you know.
There you go. Yeah, that must be it.
Okay.
Hey, we've got a guest. Let's let our guest talk.
Like exactly. So
Hey, I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for our topic tonight as well.
why
What
don't you
is
go
our
ahead and
topic
introduce
tonight?
Our topic, yeah.
It is the Flatwoods monster.
Ooh, good old flatties.
Yes.
Well, let's do a brief history first for people who are unaware of the Flatwoods monster, or the fact that the Flatwood monster actually has some grounding in reality. It's not just a funny thing that Bethesda made up and added to
Big
Fallout
ol' haha.
76.
One thing I do want to say, one of the things I fell in love with Fallout 76 is because they use the West Virginia lore and history. I love that. I love the Grafton monster. I love the Fallout monster. I think those are wonderful. I wish they would bring more of that stuff into the game.
Well, we
I
have
absolutely
2 new
love.
cryptids. We do have 2 new cryptids now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they're pretty cool.
And they are true to West Virginia. That's
Mhm.
great.
It is true.
They
Yes,
are
I
pretty cool.
recently went into 76.
You did?
I did.
Oh my gosh. What did you think?
It hasn't changed a bit for me.
Oh, look, Jackson is representing Mothman for us.
Jeez.
His little face filter things that he has. Yeah, I think Mothman, probably Mothman is my favorite, only because
I mean,
He has a
okay,
shiny
let me phrase that. The stuff in the store and then some of the gameplay was a little bit different. But everything else to me was just the same.
you didn't do any of the new events with the
Well, I didn't have enough time to. I just went around the map and just see what was new in the main map. I didn't do any of the events.
So did you see the new places that they added for the 2 events?
I think so. I hope
In
so.
the Cranberry Bog for the turtle, and over in the 300 cabins for the.
I saw the cabins, but I
Mhm.
did not see I didn't go into the bog. My character's not good enough to be in the bog yet.
Because you don't play.
That is true.
That's all new stuff. I think with the cabins, and I forget what their name was. I don't remember now, but it was hunters lodges. Like if you looked at all the terminals and whatever that was there before, it was some hunter lodges that were just empty before. In fact, when you went there, you either got rad scorpions or the honeybee creatures, because that was a good place to find those
Mhm.
if you had to farm them. And those buildings are still there. The only thing they really added was a couple more like fancy kind of vehicles, and then they added that whole deal in the middle that's supposed to be the deterrent, the wildlife deterrent or whatever, and then some walkways across the top of the buildings, and then everything inside they kind of added like the vendor spaces and whatever, but it didn't change a lot. I mean, I guess it did, but it wasn't huge. But the whole thing in the cranberry bog, it was just a walkway.
Mhm.
And now it's got all these buildings built up, the whole thing, a bunch of little different cabins and buildings and walkways all over the place with all the cultist people there. So they did a lot out there. That's all built up.
So we're going to get into the history of the Flatwoods
Yeah.
Monster. Is that where we're
Yes.
going?
Doing everything and anything with the Flatwoods Monster.
Flatwoods
Yes.
Monster.
In 1952, in Braxton County, West Virginia. A lot of people know the story. I'm gonna give the short version, and then I think there's some other things we want to talk about around the Flatwoods event that are pretty cool. But on the night of September 12th, 1952, there were some young boys playing. They saw a ball of fire come down. Hit near the Bailey farm in Braxton County, West Virginia. So they went and got their mother and another older teenager guy. He was in the National Guard. So there were 7 witnesses. They went up on the hill and saw a craft of some kind with some kind of fog, steam, something coming out of it. There was a dog also with them that got sick during this ordeal.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, a lot of people apparently got sick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all had some sort of like a stomach flu kind of situation going on with it.
Yeah. Violently nauseous.
Yeah, they were nauseated.
Yeah, in fact, the dog, from a lot of reports, actually passed because of this event. But as they were coming down from seeing the craft, they actually ran into what is called the Flatwoods Monster, and it was this large 12 to 15 foot.
I think it was 10 foot. I think it's 10 foot.
Well, I think
Hold on,
there's,
let me see.
I think it's more like the range is from the conflicting reports of what.
Well, it's an
people thought.
approximation. I'm
Right.
being
Yeah,
smart
it's
ass.
according to what witness you ask.
Right.
One of the May boys was the one that said the 15 foot, 12 to 15 foot, which was one of the older boys, the older young boys at the time. But it was taller than a normal human, was what they were saying anyway. So anyway, around, we'll say 10, 12 foot.
According, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go
you,
ahead.
But according to Wikipedia here, which we can trust Wikipedia,
No, we can't.
it says it's approximate. A UFO writer described the figure as approximately 10 feet tall or 3 meters.
Which
So
is-
we're in that ballpark.
Yeah,
Very
well,
good.
that's not that much a variance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to, because I was just making sure.
The
Continue.
interesting thing about this figure, and I think a lot of people have seen the picture of this weird looking monster, but one of the boys said it did not look human at all. It almost looked like a German rocket from the war. Of course, I understand this was right after World War II. It was almost metallic, he said, almost mechanical looking, but yet it had arms and claws. So they didn't know what this thing was. The eyes are what was kind of in the shape of eyes, he said, was like portholes that had lights coming out of it. They didn't know what it was, but it scared them all to death, obviously. So that's the Flatwoods Monster. Now, the interesting thing, and what I wanted to bring up to you guys, and what a lot of people don't know, is there were other incidents right around this that actually were very similar. Just a couple of weeks before that, there was another lady called Audrey Harper that had a run-in with a very similar thing, a black figure that stood about 10 to 12 foot high. Same thing, had the smoke, made her sick to her stomach. Also, the day after this event, September the 13th, there was George and Edith Smith Castle. I don't know if y'all have heard about this one.
I don't think so.
They were from New York. They were driving through, and the car actually stopped. The car just shut down on them after the light went over. So they saw the craft go over, and whatever it was with the craft made their car shut off. And the man got out, George got out to work on the car. And while he was out working on the car, she saw the being there, and
The ace of spades.
yeah, he got sick because he was out there. It's so interesting, just crazy, some of the things. So it wasn't just the 7 witnesses that were there in 1952. And remember, this was taken so seriously that the very next day that the Air Force sent the National Guard, Special Forces troops from the National Guard there. And it was a large group of troops from the National Guard that came in there.
Well, and that kind of makes sense with the time frame, because if you think about it, that period of time, there was a lot of UFO sightings. There was a lot of different things going on, and our government didn't really know what was going on. Like, they were just as confused as any little town folk were at that time. They were running all over the United States trying to figure out what this thing's being said and that thing's being said. And it was like a mass hysteria throughout the entire United States at that time. And I think a lot of it did stem from the Roswell situation.
Yeah.
And it kind of perpetuated itself throughout the United States and actually out into even England and whatnot, which, I guess that's kind of where we get the TARDIS from,
Isn't it crazy? From about 1947 to mid 60s, there was just a UFO craze.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Yeah,
it was
and everybody
ridiculous.
was really into it, because we see a lot of contemporary buildings and a lot of like UFO stuff. Like, they would decorate or build them, and like a UFO hotel or whatever. They were like really into it. It didn't really scare them as much as just fascinate them, I think.
I think it was a little bit of
people
both,
who had
especially with War of the
actual
Worlds.
run-ins were probably scared, but
well, when War of the Worlds thing happened, that really freaked a lot of people out.
Yeah, because
Orwell Wells.
Yeah.
Or
because they didn't say, hey, this is a story. Or this is
no, they presented it like a newscast, and that really freaked
and that's
actually caused a few medical situations with people having heart attacks.
Right. I'm sure it was it probably caused car accidents and everything.
Also, a lot of the people didn't in the very beginning of that story, of the story, they were supposed to announce a disclaimer saying that it wasn't real, because they knew it was going to, it was supposed to be realistic, but a lot of the people
didn't want that. He wanted that. He wanted that shock value.
Right. And I mean, that's the power of persuasion. Of course, they didn't have like.
I mean, they did do the disclaimer because they had to, for legal reasons, and because the studio made them. But a lot of those people didn't tune in right at the beginning because there was something more important on at that time. So
or like the neighbor comes running over. Oh my gosh, did you hear this on the radio? So then everybody starts turning it on.
Well, and I don't think our generations understand how people really were so scared about this stuff. I've heard about UFOs all my life, but it's just, here was a report and there was a report. This was so, well, let me just give you a couple of things. And this just blew my mind. In the same year, July 19th of the same year, and this was a huge deal that hit the papers and the newscast and everything else. Washington, D.C., which is close to West Virginia, by the way, there were UFOs over the Capitol and the White House.
The Pentagon. Also.
And then not only the 19th, you go a week later, July the 27th, there were 12 UFOs again over the Capitol, the Pentagon, and the White House. They even scrambled fighters that took off after them. I mean, they really thought they were being invaded. And with hundreds or thousands of sightings since the late 40s. You know, people really thought they were getting invaded.
Yeah. When you keep hearing about it, then yes, that's what you're gonna believe that when you hear that.
Well, can you imagine, you know, that, I mean, the term flying saucer didn't really come up until 1947. You know, you had the guy that was in Washington State that saw the what was it, 9 vehicles that were flying by, and he was the one that termed flying saucer.
Was Project Blue Book created before the 1952 like craze, or
Yeah, it was around 47s when it started.
Okay,
And
all right.
yeah, and then it came into the 52.
Project Blue Book was due to oh my God.
Can't speak today, can you?
Roswell.
No, thank you, Roswell. I was getting Orson Welles and Roswell mixed up in my brain for some reason.
They had a short-lived series. I think it was 2 seasons long on, I believe it was history, and it was Project Blue Book. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, and it had the actor from Game of Thrones, Littlefinger, in it. That was actually a pretty good show. It was historical historical things that were taken from the Project Blue Book file, whatever you want to call it, but it was done to more of a it was more dramatized and stuff, but it was really good. I enjoyed that kind of stuff, and that was like, I mean,
we're big nerds.
I watched X-Files from day one. I mean,
Who
you know,
didn't? X-Files and The Warehouse. I mean, all that stuff was good.
Warehouse 13.
That's what Warehouse 13.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
That was so short-lived, though, man. It made me disgusted.
It was too short-lived. You know,
I thought it was gonna be
more crazy stuff.
Yeah, but no one can touch X-Files though.
No, God, no. That was so good.
Oh, what was that older show? The Black.
The Black.
No. It was like the do dee dee doo dee doo.
Okay, we're gonna
Twilight
start guessing
Zone?
the music.
The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone. Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
that's
that
good
older
too.
show.
That's an older show.
That's an older show.
I was thinking he was
Very
gonna go
old.
with like Twin Peaks or something, you know?
Yeah.
I thought Twin Peaks was pretty good. I thought Twin Peaks was
Yes,
pretty
it was.
good. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
But anyway, back to aliens and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't mean to get totally off of Fallout, but if you want to go back to the game, of course, you know, we've got the aliens and stuff coming into Fallout 76. But if you want to take it back to all the Fallout games, did you know that in Mothership Zeta, it talks about the guy that was at the and here goes my lupus making my memory go away. The guy that was at the what's it called when you open up a vault when it's first starting? Anyway.
Overseer?
Dedicating. No, you're dedicating the vault. It was dedicated. You know, they just built it and it was dedicated. Anyway, it was the guy that was there dedicating the vault.
Grand opening.
Yeah, there you go. He was abducted by Mothership Zeta, and he was on Mothership Zeta in Fallout 3. So I don't know if y'all knew that, but
which guy was he? He wasn't one that we talked to? He died, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Or did we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just
I don't remember talking to somebody who was involved with vaults.
Don't make me remember all this.
But it's been a really long time. But I remember a cowboy and a samurai and a little girl.
And the little girl, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it's just on a holotape that you hear about him getting abducted.
Yeah.
But he was there at the vault.
Oh, wow.
For Vault 76, and he got abducted.
Wow.
So aliens.
It was gnarly.
It's a real thing in the Fallout world and in real life. So isn't that cool?
I love all the tie-ins that 76 is actually tied into like real world situations. I mean, yeah, a lot of the older games have a lot of like locations and things like that. But I think 76 kind of went out of their way to actually tie in realistic, mind you, yes, they are fantastical kind of situations, but there are real lore in our real United States that is being pulled into the game. And I find that very interesting.
Yeah, not just the locations, but they pulled in a lot.
They've done that in almost every game, but I mean, probably nothing closer than they did in New Vegas. But as far as like actual bringing the lore to the game, 76 did it.
I think
like
they brought a
nobody
ton
else.
in 76, especially with the cryptids.
Yeah, that's why I fell in love with it. It's awesome.
It's funny because I knew about Mothman long before 76, but all these other ones, it was like, wait, really?
I did,
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that blew my mind.
Well, then we started talking about cryptids, and I looked up cryptids. Like almost every state has a cryptid, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm
West Virginia has
I'm
more
not
than
from
any
that area.
state. Y'all would have to agree. West Virginia has more cryptids than any
They
state.
have a ton.
Yeah.
But I even looked, and I was
See,
like,
cryptids
oh my
to me
gosh.
were the chupacabra and things
Yeah.
like that because I'm from the West Coast. So I think about Mexico, and Mexico has a ton of their own cryptids.
Yep.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, here
they
in
have
Arkansas,
scary
we have
ones.
Bigfoot. That's it. We're not exciting here.
I'm a Cali boy, so it's like I'm either hearing about Bigfoot or I'm hearing about the chupacabra or something down south. You know.
Yeah. But West Virginia, they got it, boy. I don't think we've still heard them all yet. It's crazy.
Let's
I
say
don't
here
think
in
we have.
Ohio, we've got the Clevelanders, so
In Michigan, we have the Dogman.
The dog man.
Dogman. Oh my gosh,
The Dogman.
that freaking scared the poop out of me. No freaking joke.
We
I'm
also have Wendigos.
What we have, because I don't
Really in
In
Michigan.
Minnesota?
Yeah, yes, we
Monsters
do.
of the Tar Heel. We have a whole book about it.
They're up in the UP apparently.
Up and down
Go
UP.
figure.
I know how you say da UP. Because that's how you
UP.
say it.
In the Upper Peninsula.
And da
Yeah.
UP.
So, do you have any more background on the Flatwoods monster that we can?
I do, or we can go into UFOs a little more. Either way, I got both.
Okay.
I do have one question. If y'all want to get really wild, just for a minute.
Okay. Wait a minute. Before you ask that question, real quick, folks, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to hear that question.
Ever wanted to be a content creator but had no clue where to begin? Come join me as I sit down with content creators that have already faced the challenges you're up against, as they discuss the tips and tricks that help them be successful. Here on The Content Creator's Guide, available wherever podcasts can be found.
Welcome back, everybody. Now we can get right back into the question where we left off.
Okay, the question. It's for all you guys. What do you think? Well, let me set it up. I got to set this question up a little bit more. All these UFOs, hundreds of thousands of reports, the military being called. I mean, obviously the government thinks they're real. So what do you guys think these UFOs are? Are they aliens? What are they? And I actually have a theory, and y'all are going to think I'm crazy. Y'all will never have me back after this.
I know.
No, I'd like to beg to differ on craziness scale here on the Fallout Roundtable.
Military experimenting with actual alien craft that crashed, that they found underground, that they have been repurposing for centuries, and that's where all our new technology comes from. Is actually, it's not new technology; it's old technology being refurbished.
Tech. It's repurposed.
It's where Velcro came from.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's all repurposed alien tech. And it may have been aliens at the time, and they may have been checking us out and found out that, they don't want it.
Well, I asked the
anymore.
question because all of this, and this goes to my theory, all of it started in the same year. It all started in 1947. That's of course Roswell. That's, of course, the incident that I talked about. In fact, flying saucer, the term flying saucer was not even known. It was not even used until 1947. So all of it started in 1947. Now, they were seen during World War II. Okay, they were called Foo Fighters. You can go back and research that during the war. But we're talking about over the USA. They were actually seen during the battles. But over the USA, 1947. So we're right after World War II. So what started this, and who are they? Anybody want to? I've heard aliens. Anybody else want to give a guess?
Illuminati.
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 The little people.
Let me give y'all a couple of more things that happened. January 7th, 1948. So the next year, over Fort Knox, Kentucky. Y'all know what Fort Knox is, right? It's where the gold used to be. It's not anymore, but it's where we used to have all the gold.
No, because it's in Vault 79 now.
Yeah, that's right. There was UFOs that were there over an hour, just hovering over our gold, and 3 Air Force planes were sent to pursue. In fact, one of them tried to go after them so much that it crashed. One of the pilots. Two of the pilots stopped because they were going so fast that they couldn't pursue, but one of the pilots kept going and actually crashed. And again, y'all can look this up. It's all there. 2 years after that, Lubbock, Texas. I mean, you can just keep going, hundreds after hundreds. And I've just got all these different sightings that happen, and they all lead into the 1952 over the Capitol that we talked about, over Washington, D.C., then right into the Flatwoods monster. It's all the same stuff. And it all started 1947. Well, what went on? Yeah, what went on around 1947? What was going on?
Desegregation.
The Cold War.
Let's see. Flying objects.
Let me tell y'all
Roswell.
one thing that's just a wild theory, okay?
Communism.
I'm not going to tell y'all I think this is it, just a wild possibility that's out there. Have y'all ever heard of Operation High Jump?
I think so. Me, military, not here. I think I did.
It is a real thing that happened, and the U.S. military sent 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft. Y'all can look it up, to Antarctica. They called it high jump because they were jumping over the wall, I guess. The ice wall down there.
Sorry. I'm sorry for laughing. I'm sorry for laughing. Please continue.
But everybody wonders why in the world that they sent all those men, all those ships, and all those planes down there. They said they were just going to survey, whatever. But the deal was the mission got cut way short. And rumors are, again, not confirmed because the military won't confirm it, but the rumors are that they ran into UFOs. And in fact, there was a ship sunk and aircraft sunk because there were, they got into battle with UFO craft. Now, what people are, and again, this is just, it's not confirmed. This is what people think, that it is a possibility that it was Germans that went to Antarctica after the end of the war, and that they had secret technology. Y'all don't think I'm crazy. And they took it down there, that they actually had this technology that they were working on. They were almost finished with it. And that it's actually Nazi technology.
Would not surprise me if it was.
It kind of makes some sense because they did have better technology than we did.
They were.
Well, yeah, we took all their scientists.
Yes,
Well,
we did.
We probably didn't get all of
Operation Paperclip.
Yep.
Yeah, we probably didn't get them all, but
can I throw a wrench into that theory?
Yes, please.
There was the Battle of Los Angeles to happen in 1942.
There was that one, yes.
Yes.
So But
that was even before. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I just, cause you were saying that, I'm like, wait, there's something that happened before that. I know there was. Yeah, the Battle of Los Angeles. That's freaking fascinating. That one
That
just
is
blows
a
my mind every time.
fascinating one. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I found books about cryptids and unknown phenomenon and stuff like that in the library when I was growing up, and I would like consumed all that stuff, like Nessie. I love Loch Ness. Wanted to go to Loch Ness for like ever and stuff, and UFOs and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, I've always been into that stuff. So this is
It possibly doesn't, and I'm not backing up my theory. It possibly doesn't. Remember, the war started May of 1941, so it still possibly could have been Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Now you say, well, why didn't they use it during the war? It's a very good question. I have no idea. I'm just throwing it out there. If it was them,
it may not have been done.
I mean, yeah, I have no idea.
Well, we have mistaken a lot of Nazi stuff for, alien aircraft in the past. It's like the V1 rocket and things like that. So I could see
German
how
jet
that's a possibility as
fighters,
well. But
Messerschmitts 262s.
that takes all the romance out of it.
That
though.
takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah, it takes the romance out.
But there's just a theory. But isn't that crazy? It's just some wild stuff.
And that is wild how everything started then.
One other UFO one I want to bring up, and this one's wild. The reports just keep on going after 1952 up till 1965. And I don't know if y'all have heard of the Kecksburg incident that was in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania.
No.
I'm not aware.
This one is wild.
I'm not aware of this one either.
You could actually see it from Canada all the way across. In fact, it actually burned fields through Ohio into Pennsylvania. And
What?
it was seen by all kinds of people. I mean, it was a whole town witnessed this thing.
What was it called again?
It was Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. That's the name of the town.
UFO incident.
Yeah. And John Murphy is the name of the guy. It's really strange. He was a radio host, and he was also a little investigative reporter. And he actually took pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff of the UFO after it crashed. And this is where the Nazi tie-in, by the way, came, because this is where the Nazi bell, if you've ever heard of the Nazi bell, it kind of looks like a flying saucer, but it was what the Nazis actually, and this has been declassified, by the way, the Nazis were actually working on something that was called the bell, where they were working on an anti-gravity thing. But it was something that looked like that, and that's why they've connected it. But anyway, this man investigated.
Sometimes makes you wonder what technology they might have developed if they were left alone for a longer period.
Oh yeah,
yeah, crazy? It's kind of scary to think about it.
And there wasn't all those sanctions.
The crazy thing about the crazy thing about John Murphy was he was visited by the Men in Black, and all of his video and pictures were taken, and then he was mysteriously killed by a hit and run, and they never found, of course, the people that killed him. I mean, that just happened right after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he wouldn't let this go.
Mm-hmm.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
So NASA
Bob's your uncle.
NASA said that it was they examined fragments from the area and determined it was a Soviet satellite.
No.
But their findings were lost in 1987.
Yeah.
There was
their excuse.
There was a book that I read a while back, and it was somebody had this because not only did we get scientists from Germany, Russia did too at the same time. Yeah. And there was this theory that was thrown around that the Roswell incident was created by Russia, and that the bodies that were found were medically altered children.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of it was a psyops program with Russia to make us think of aliens and stuff like that, to not focus on them and stuff. And it was it was a distraction so they could
distraction.
So they could garner power, gather power and do stuff while we're looking to the skies, when it's all stuff that was created by Russia, the Soviets.
Well, and by the way, people wonder where all the UFO alien stuff came from, where all that idea came from. And by the way, I'm not feeling like I'm going to hurt myself or anything. So, the CIA actually does this. They put out misinformation all the time, but we
can trust everything they say.
They would manipulate the news. Absolutely. They manipulated the movies, everything else, but they started with the movie campaigns with the alien from Mars is attacking, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was to cover up all these things that were being seen now. What is it? What's in the sky? Well, they wanted to explain it away. Well, it was the best way to do it.
Aliens.
Make it something nobody would believe.
Yeah.
Right.
Aliens.
It's like all the misdirection and everything that we experience today.
And we're
I don't know if there's any correlation to this, but so I don't know if you guys know who. You ever heard of the rock group Iron Butterfly? Unagata-Davida and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have heard that.
Okay, so there's the guitar player from that. His name is Philip Taylor Kramer, and he disappeared for quite a few years. He's an engineer, and he was working on time travel, and he disappeared. So this is a creepy thing.
Of course, it's time travel.
Guess when he was born?
64.
1952.
Wow.
He was born July 12th, 1952.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's dun. Now, so all these things happening in 1952, I just happened to, I was like, wait a minute, I remember something else that was important, because I really dig Iron Butterfly and stuff like that. So I was like, wait a minute, isn't that? Yeah. So I looked that up real quick, and I was right. Yeah, he was born in 1952. Now, mind you, he disappeared.
I was about to say, I wonder why he went missing. Wink,
he
wink.
disappeared in 1995. And
95.
He was working. They say probable suicide, but if you look into it, he was he had an aerospace engineer degree, and he was working on time travel.
Wow.
That was a thing that he was really into.
He was probably getting close is the problem.
Go look into all that.
That's probably why he disappeared.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy that, well, and yeah, they might have disappeared him, but they probably made sure that they got that technology first.
We better be careful what we talk about, or we're all going to disappear.
Well, I don't know that I have anything helpful.
I got stuff.
You got stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's so weird. The Fallout Roundtable, they had 51 episodes, and they just stopped for some weird reason.
It was weird.
They let the king come on, and then they were gone.
They brought this random guy on, and they're all gone.
They're all gone.
I'm sorry.
You're so
famous last words. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you were suicided.
Yeah, did I do that?
Terrible. But that would make sense if obviously, like, it doesn't surprise me that some of the German scientists went to Russia. And then if, of course, then we were in a big Cold War with Russia for forever. And so, of course, they're not going to share what they're doing with, what these scientists are coming up with.
And I wouldn't doubt at all that there's still Nazis alive somewhere, whether it's South America.
South America.
Yeah,
that's what they say. Or again, here's another thing. Why can't we? Nobody can go and just explore Antarctica. Nobody can. It's illegal to go. You can't go.
Yeah.
You say, well, you can go get a cruise. They'll let you go on the little bitty tip of it. That's all they'll let you go on.
Yeah. But who's there to stop you?
I saw a
military.
all
Yeah.
the governments of
Is
the
there?
world have come in this. I mean, and they've had a treaty. And when do all the governments of the world ever agree on anything?
Right.
That's another
Yeah.
thing that scares me.
So they
about
all
That-
met
that's
and
kinda-
Well, they
decided
found
that
entire full mountain
nobody
ranges
is gonna
and things underneath the snow there that have been there so long. Like we're talking about, they've I think it was Russia. They drilled all the
Mm.
way down to a lake that's in the middle of Antarctica, and there's like not parameciums, but there's celled creatures that are down
Mhm.
there that are unknown throughout all of the
Right.
the world, and they've been down there for billions of years, just kind of
buried
like
in the ice.
yeah, and they've thrived underneath that area, and
You
there's
know,
that's creepy.
it absolutely boggles my mind. It's like, do people not watch movies? Do people not read books? I mean, like,
Did no one
like,
watch the
cre-
Chris
The
Pratt
reading books
movie?
part, probably not.
No.
I mean, just with all this, I mean, like the fears of AI that's going on right now,
Like
and
Jurassic
you
Park and all
know,
that. Yeah.
and yeah, it's just like, don't you read? Don't you
Let's
watch
not.
movies and stuff like that? Let's not do these kind of things.
Well, they're already talking about how we're going to end up with all these diseases that we've never seen before because they've been buried
Drilling
in
into the
ice for
ground?
so long, and now it's all
Yeah, drilling.
melting.
Huh.
Well, they don't even have to drill for some of it. It's all like those layers are melting away, and they're going to start exposing different
Yeah.
viruses and bacterium that we haven't had to be exposed to in so long.
We're
so
all
our-
gonna
we don't have
die.
That
resistance.
sounds like a good video game plot.
Oh my gosh! It
Well, I
sounds.
mean, we're like a pandemic game or something
Yeah.
like that. It's
It
kinda
doesn't
like-
it though? Yeah.
it's like
Oh
crazy.
goodness. So it was fun having this show, guys. Probably not going to be able to have
Well,
another
We're all
show
probably
gonna
won't
after
be
this
die
around.
one.
tomorrow. Hush up. That would
No,
be
no,
too
no, it's gonna be Final Destination style.
If y'all ever let me come back, I'll try to behave and not.
So,
go
um,
crazy.
speaking of which, so do you have anything you'd like to plug, or anything you'd like to put out there? What do you got coming up?
No, not really. Right now, what I got going on, I'm taking care of my ailing mother, so my channel's I'm kind of just
Back burnered at the moment.
back burnered right now. Yeah, I'm putting out content when I can. So
All right,
you know,
well,
sometime
I
life
hope
gets
your
in the
mother
way.
feels better.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, thoughts and prayers.
I appreciate it. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I do.
a
I
good
do have.
son.
I do have the Kingcast every Saturday at 4:30 Central. So if anybody wants to tune into that, we cover all things Bethesda every Saturday at 4:30 Central,
Well, there you go.
and
That's
it's
your
live.
Mhm.
You cover all things Bethesda, like we cover all things Roundtable or
Yeah.
Fallout, like we
Yes.
did today.
I like how you said that. All
Yes.
things roundtable. Yeah, we're sitting here talking about King Arthur all the time. Yeah, right.
Yeah, all
Sorry.
wrestling.
My
Oh,
table's
quiet, Percival.
square.
No.
Sorry. Can't talk about my table today. It's square.
A
So
table
did I
square.
stay close enough to the subject? Was that okay?
Oh yeah,
You're great.
Okay.
You're great.
It was
We're-
great. It was
we're all
fun.
knuckleheads anyway, so
Yeah, no.
you just fit in just fine.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Our
Well,
train
I
just naturally
appreciate y'all
derails.
having me. I had a good time.
Well,
It,
I
was. It
hope
was.
you did.
I
it was
think that's
fun,
it
all
for
the-
us
all the
tonight,
rabbit
guys.
trails.
Everybody say good night. Say goodbye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye bye.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.